All right, Huber.
Yo.
So at Summer Game Fest,
Yes.
you got to play a little snippet
A snippet.
of Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah.
It was funny. I went over there to see if I could play it too, and like, oh, we're all booked up, but we're gonna have previews right after. And so I did this. It was an interesting setup. I haven't done a setup quite like this. They just had us like on a Teams call, like in the background, and like the preview build was like only available for us for like 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And it's like 90 minutes to 2 hours or so, like to get through it all, depending on like, because it can get hard. It can get hard at points.
For sure. Sick.
So I want to try to like get a summary of this in a way so that like people don't check out and just leave. But it's like, so I'm optimistic for this game, but I'm also like, there are times where I'm like, man, I don't know.
That's how I felt too.
And but then when I got to, they skipped us ahead to like a later boss with like a lot more abilities and stuff, and it was like, okay, maybe I'm back in.
Yeah.
So this is where like this game is kind of taking me on a journey here.
Sure, for sure.
Because I'm all in for crazy dark Pac-Man.
Same.
Right?
10 out of 10, secret level, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
In.
This stuff is the setup for this is crazy.
It's so cool.
Because it's like it's part of the United Galaxy Space Force, which has apparently already been a thing, but like all of these Bandai Namco things put together. Pac-Man, Bosconian, Dig Dug, Galaga, Mr. Driller. Apparently, like, Dig Dug happens 300 years after Ace Combat 3. Like,
Ace Combat is in? Oh my god. Blood.
This is crazy.
Because I love the Ace Combat lore. That's a little known secret of mine. I legit love that whole universe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So and we're just gonna see crazy stuff in this game, and so like I'm all in for that. And it's weird because like you have the humanoid character, swordsman number 8, that you play as, but you have been summoned by Puck. Puck is the character.
Okay.
And the swordsman in the secret level was swordsman number 7. It's crazy. This is all crazy.
Crazy.
So they had us play. They didn't have us play the beginning at all.
Okay.
They had us play.
I wonder if the very, very, very beginning will have any number 7. Anything?
Yeah,
like
I don't
any
know.
lore.
I don't know exactly how it starts,
yeah.
right? So we skipped ahead of they said roughly a third of the way into the game, which I think might be a bit generous. I think it might be earlier than that based on like the amount of stuff that I had compared to the amount of stuff that I had by the end.
Got it.
And then so just like 2 kind of like normal like platforming sections, and then a boss fight, like a major boss fight. And then they skipped us ahead to like way later to that later boss fight. And it's the gameplay stuff that I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like it's not really like nailing the feel. Like it's a little bit like there's a lot of the platforming where I'm like, oh, I just kind of missed that jump, and then I fell way down, and I got to come back up and try to do the sequence again.
For my tiny little bit, Blood, that was the only thing really holding me back, was just kind of the controls and the feel. Yeah. Which is so important in a Metroidvania, the most important thing.
And so they would have like kind of, you would go down an elevator, and they're like, you need to like collect like 3 pieces of this key to get through a door that's in another area. And so to like the one side, there was this place with the, like, you kind of had to like navigate this section with like a ball that you had to like roll down these spikes.
That's fun.
And so you had to like jump off, you had to get the ball rolling and then like jump off of it to like something to swing across, and then work your way through this area. And then there was another section where you have like the mini Puck. So basically, like you get onto these rails, and Puck does like the waka waka, like going in a circle.
I guess I do like one of those.
And then you jump from rail to rail and kind of go through there. And then there's another section that was like a combat arena, where you're just like doing a lot of combat. And there's a lot of this stuff where like we're saying, like the nuances are kind of weird, because like you can parry or block.
Yeah, you have
but
to
you
switch.
select them as a skill.
Yeah,
like I think
you get
hold,
access
like,
to one or the other. Yeah,
and then you swap between parry or block.
Yeah,
and the block puts up a shield that can like absorb like a certain number of hits. And
which, on the good side, the silver lining of that Blood, I feel like, is trying to cater to more people because there's people out there that love to parry and there's people that hate parrying.
Right.
So just giving them the option to, like, you know what, I'm not even going to engage with parrying. Let me just block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way that, like, especially like this combat arena area played out is it feels like the pace is kind of like mismatched in a way, because like there's like a lot of enemies coming at me and I didn't feel like I had a lot of tools to deal with a lot of enemies. So like I parry one guy, then I get hit by the next one and I don't have enough time to parry again. So it was a little tricky, like figuring out like how am I actually supposed to do this. And I also like taking damage as well. It's like, oh, I'm dead. I didn't like, unless I'm like looking at my health bar, it's kind of hard to tell that I was like taking that much damage.
Oh, the feedback.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's just like a lot of these like little feedback nuance things.
Yeah.
That are a little bit weird. And then there's like there is a dodge, and that's actually pretty helpful because you can like dodge roll through guys and get behind them. And then you can also like use it in the air to like air dash. And then when you take a guy down, you click the right stick.
Yeah, to like
for the like a ghost version of the mech to grab and like consume
that
the
got
body and get the materials.
Yeah.
And what's nice though is like if there's a pile of bodies, it'll get multiple at once, but they only last for like a couple of seconds before they like evaporate. I didn't get to a part where I actually was able to like play with that systems, like what the materials and stuff are used for. Yeah. I did see that there's a lot of like equipable perks and slots and things like that, and so you have like so many like they're basically like the Pac-Man icon pips of like, okay, these are your equipment slots, and then you get some of those later on. It's like, okay, now I can equip more things. And some of them are temporary too. Like there's some where it's like, okay, you'll get like 2 extra like health bars temporarily, but if you die, all right, this perk is evaporates. And then when you, I think it's as you consume. It's either as you consume or when you defeat enemies.
As you consume sounds like a metal band.
There is a meter that builds up for when you can summon the mech. And so that's one of the things too is like saving that for the right time.
You just save it for the boss.
Yeah, you get up to, well, not the bosses necessarily, but there are times where like there's like bigger sort of like mid-boss-ish.
Mini
like
bosses.
It's not even quite even a mini-boss, but like bigger guys. It's like, okay, when these guys are around, pop the mech, and you can just wipe them out before the mech goes away. And so yeah, I definitely did that with the combat arena. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna survive all of this without popping that mech. The mech's name is Gaia. By the way, interesting. In whatever lore goes behind that.
Dawn would know. That's some Dawn lore. Gaia Dawn lore.
And then so like you get the keys together, and then you like unlock a door and go into another room. Oh, real quick, I did. Speaking of upgrades and stuff, I did at the very beginning got to like poke around in like the Bosconian village and talk to some people and stuff there.
How was that? I never got to do that.
It was all right, but like I said, because I didn't really have the resources to like buy anything at that time, it was just like, okay, chat with some people and stuff.
Yeah. Any meaningful dialogue you heard that you were interested in? Or was
there's some stuff that's going on there for sure. Like I think you probably go back there like several times.
Yeah.
I know like after we defeat the first boss, we go back there. And
maybe
then
some
like
side
you have to
quests
challenge some character there to like a duel or something. So yeah, there's stuff there for sure.
Good.
And then and then I got into like another area where it was just like a lot more complex, and like you're going like into doors and things, and like, okay, you go to this door and then you unlock this thing. There's a lot of bits like that where there's like sort of like timing elements where like you push a button and then like the door goes up, but then like you've got to get through like a maze section or like the little mini puck section in a certain amount of time. But again, like some of those things, it's like you can get in these situations where it's like, okay, you're trying to do this platforming bit, but you just miss it, and then you fall a long way, and you kind of have to repeat a lot. Or there will be like these purple laser things that like, if you touch those at all, it resets you to a safe point. And so there's just like a lot that feels sort of repetitive.
That stuff is super fun when the controls and the movement are 10 out of 10. Like Celeste, like Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, like then it's like you die, go again, you die, go again, you die again. You're just like addicted to trying to finish those. But I think the fun of that really relies on how good it feels. Yeah.
And then we'll get to the first boss was it's funny because it was G-host. And it was
William Birkin?
It was based on Pinky from Pac-Man.
Okay.
So basically it's like this robotic thing, and you'd have to like smash its shield off, and then you would like actually see like a pink slime ball, like a ghost basically, like on the top of the core. And there you really you like actually need to, you don't need to, but it helps a lot if you do parry, because it would have these things kind of going around the outside of the boss room, and they would like shoot down. These like metal spike things.
So just like parrying.
And so if you parry one of those metal spikes, then it would be deactivated for a certain amount of time. So then you could just focus on the boss. And as you get into like different phases.
Did it actually look like Pinky?
Kind of, but it was like, but it was like I said, it was like Pinky globbed onto like an orange core.
Awesome.
And then
that's just so cool. It's so cool.
But then as you like proceed through the fight, like those metal like spear things or whatever you want to call them, they would like change in like their kinds of abilities, and there would be more of them. And so it's like, okay, there's the blue ones that are pretty basic, but then there are like green ones that are like go faster, and then other ones that would like have an explosion if they hit down if you didn't parry them in time. And so, so that was actually a good thing to like help me like learn like how the parries work and stuff. It's like, okay, you actually got to be facing the thing and like in the right position and all of that. But otherwise, because it's still so early, it just felt like I was just having to do this like 3-hit combo over and over again. Just keep doing damage, just keep chipping away at it. But then, Huber. But after that, it's because this I think is a key thing. So when you consume the boss after you've defeated it, then you get like a grappling ability. So now you can like grapple onto these points, get up to higher ground. There's also like these like blue like fungal things that you can hold onto.
Yeah, I did some of that.
And so that was really nice. Another thing I didn't mention is there's sort of like a stamina meter. It's like called an ESP meter. It's a big red bar though, and that is for like when you're dodging, but also for like some of your special abilities. So when you first start out, all you have is like a big like red sword attack. But if you deplete it all the way, then you have to wait for a while for it to recharge. Mm-hmm. So you have to keep an eye on that, because if you're waiting, then you can't dodge.
Wow.
And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so after I got the grapple ability and went back to the town, and that was kind of the cutoff point for that first save file, and then I skipped over to the other one. And then Huber.
Yeah.
All right, we got to reveal this here. This boss, this is a nod. This is really freaking great boss. I like the boss, but you're gonna love what it's based on. Look familiar?
No, dude. No.
It's based on Splatterhouse, dude.
No way. Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Jen? No.
So this is the stuff to be in for, dude.
What?
It is wild. And
wait, do they have the license to that?
I guess so. Like they specifically called it out as being a Splatterhouse thing.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So but
I love the Splatterhouse so
this guy
much.
took me a few attempts. Thankfully, my first attempt I actually did pretty well on, so it's fine to roll this for a bit and then just cut to another one later. But what was great about this is you can see, like, now I have a lot more abilities.
Splatterhouse secret level next.
Yes.
Please.
So, and then there's the mech there too.
Yeah.
So I managed to slash off its mask. And then when you're like attacking the raw face, it hit stops. Like, so you can get a lot more damage on it when the mask is off, because the mask just like completely shields it.
Incredible.
But there's all these other abilities that I got to mess around with here, Huber. So like I've got a double jump now.
God.
I've got a thing where like I can launch puck at the enemy. I've got a thing that can
That's fun. Launching puck.
stun the enemy in place. I've got one
This
that
boss fight looks good.
that like creates like kind of like a floating orb that like kind of does damage if something hits it. So you're kind of shielded a little bit that way. And then one of the things here, I don't know if you noticed, but like now my air dash does damage, like a screw attack style.
Nice.
So there's,
That's a nod.
And I have a double jump. I have all this stuff now to work with. And so the game just, at this point, even though all I got to do was this boss fight, it just felt a lot better to play. And so
Nice. That's encouraging, Blood.
so that's why I'm like, if I
You
get
had me
back,
at Splatterhouse, dude. Holy shit, man.
yeah, that's the one where like the ball that rolls around you.
Yeah.
So this boss took
God, it
me
looks so good too.
a good number of tries.
I bet, because you're fully loaded here and it's hitting you hard. You're barely hitting it for any damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's
This
got
looks tough.
This thing where it's like dropping stuff from the ceiling. It's got these shockwave attacks that it's doing, and so you got to learn to jump over those.
Wow.
But then when I finally got it, Huber, like I think I just cracked the code on the guy because like
Always.
I used an attack that like took his mask out like right away.
Downloaded.
And then I was just wailing on him, and I didn't even like take all that much damage on my last run. So yeah, I'm curious when I have all those abilities, what are the platforming and all that going to feel like?
Yeah.
So cautiously optimistic
Dude,
still.
I'm playing Splatterhouse tonight.
Right? But even if it's like a
Holy
7,
shit.
dude,
Number 3 was my favorite.
having stuff like Splatterhouse and maybe
It's too
Dig Dug
cool.
or
I
Galaga
know.
or whatever.
And
it's-
Pac-Man in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like the premise and the big swing they are taking on this game is a reason to at least give it a chance.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
So
We'll
cool.
see.
Yeah. I just want it to be just a little tighter, Blood. I think you
Yeah.
feel the same way.
Yeah, hopefully
Just
that's
a
something
little
they can
bit.
do.
Yeah. Hopefully, if they don't get there with how it just overall feels, hopefully all of the progression and the exploration kind of rise above.
Yeah,
and-
because that's
and
the
bring
other
that
thing
up.
I'm a little worried about too. Is that like
Mm-hmm.
the first areas that I've done are like kind of plain. It's just like stark gray steel walls
Yeah.
and a lot of kind of like cookie cutter looking platforms and environments.
Yeah.
But then later areas, at least look different. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Fingers are crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for checking this out. We're Easy Allies. Go to our YouTube channel or easyallies.com to see more previews and impressions and a whole bunch of other stuff that we did at Summer Game Fest. And we have a podcast that comes out every week where we talk about games and headlines. And if you would like to support what we're doing, if you like this, go to patreon.com/easyallies because we are funded by people just like you. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.